Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Greeneville Federal Bank Eddie Spradlen Show, where we cover everything inside of Burley Stadium with the Greeneville Green Devils. As always, I'm joined here with Green Devils head coach Eddie Spradlen. Coach, how are we doing this afternoon?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's another weird week for you.
Yeah.
Just got done playing a game on Tuesday night. You got to turn around and play on Friday in less than 72 hours after your previous game just finished. We'll cover that game against Volunteer here in a little bit in the second half. Talk about that game against Morristown West. It was odd to have that game canceled and then have to reschedule the game on Tuesday. We spoke about it last week. First time in 92 years that Greeneville had played a game on Tuesday night. Got out to a big lead at the half. They started slowly chipping away in the second half. So talk about that game as a whole.
You know, really proud of the effort of my football team to play 4 quarters. You know, something we've not done as a team since week 1 against Tennessee High. Really, in that game, we got some guys out in that one during the fourth quarter as well. But, year's been obviously unexpected, taking some games away because of weather. But, it kind of showed that we missed some of that 4-quarter conditioning that you try to get it during practice, but the only way you really get that is during the game. And, we played really good in that first half. We held them to 36 yards of offense with our defense, so really proud of how hard we played defensively. Scored 20 points, got 2 really good field goals by Quentin Brandon, which was big for our football team. Something that we've not really done much of in the last few years, to be able to kick it through there when we needed a field goal. So that was big for us. And, came in at halftime up 20-0. I told those guys it's going to be a 4-quarter battle, and that's what it ended up being.
That's one question I always like to ask every year whenever I find a team that has a good field goal kicker. How important is it to have somebody that can kick field goals in a high school game?
It's big. We picked up 6 points last year that really made the difference last night. That one was a 47-yard field goal. That's I think it was like 5th or 6th all time in the longest in school history. It's big when you can get down there and it's not going your way. And instead of going for it on 4th down, you got an opportunity to put up some points. And we felt like last night, and as good a defense that we were facing in Morristown West, is that we needed an opportunity to try to kick those field goals in. And he stepped in there and did a great job.
So you were up 20-0 at halftime. You come out in the second half. You have to deal with a bit of injuries. Carson Quillen and Emmanuel Dixon kind of missed some time out on the field. They started slowly chipping away and getting back into the game. How were you able to overcome that adversity whenever they cut it down to a 6-point lead or a 6-point deficit with just about 6 minutes to go?
We were able to get off the field a couple times defensively. That was big. And then we, offense, we were able to eat some of that clock and drive the football by running out with some of them big guys. Bryson Myers, Zach Crispin, Emmanuel Dixon all stepped in there and did a tremendous job in that second half at running back. Those 3 dudes that are over 200 pounds, and, we had some big runs. And, just being able to kill that clock. And, Emmanuel had like a 30 or 40-yard run there. He got in the end zone, had an opportunity to get another big run, but it's called back on a holding penalty. We were able to eat some of that clock and get down there when, we had them backed up and they had one chance to, one series to go to try to win that game, and we were able to get them off the field on defense, so it was big.
You had a very successful night on the ground rushing too. All 3 of your touchdowns came on the ground. Emmanuel had one, Carson had one, and then Corbin Cannon ran one on the left tackle. Talk about how important it was to establish that running game in that game last night.
That's one I believe we talked last week is one of our keys to success. We got to be able to run the football, and it starts with our guys up front. Those guys really battled up front for us. Which we were super excited about against the really big, had 2 really big inside linebackers and a really big athletic defensive line. So it was a tremendous challenge for those guys. But our offensive staff did a great job coming up with the game plan. We were able to work that game plan and hit some big runs and just some runs, some hard yards that we talk about that we've got to get every week. So, it was good to get those yards, and those guys hadn't, Zach and Bryson not contributed as much on offense, especially at running back. So we're able to, we want to get them some more carries as we've went on, but just not the opportunity we've had so far. And it presented itself last night, and those two guys really stepped up, which is big for this football team.
You had over 200 yards on the ground, and it's pretty impressive when I think you rushed for more yards than they had as a whole entire offense. I think your defense held them to 212 yards of total offense. How important was it for your defense to kind of face that adversity late into the game? Because you have the games that were close with Alcoa and Dobbins-Bennett, but you didn't get to finish those in the fourth quarter. The game with Tennessee High was 28-7, and then the game with Cherokee ended up being a pretty large win for you guys. How important was it for your defense to kind of face that adversity and have to step up in the fourth quarter?
It's big. Down the road, you're going to have to play, to win some of these games that you want to be in. And, down the road, you got to be able to play 4 quarters. And for we had a lot of guys not been we've not been playing 4 quarters. Some guys have not been playing much, had to step up, and we had some different injuries. So had a lot of guys play last night. A lot of guys step in there, and like we talked about, some different guys stepping up, which was big for this football team down the road. So we've got to be able to play a 4-quarter game, and we got to, in these next few games, we got to play probably our starters a little more than we probably used to, just to get them in some of that shape and get us ready for those big time games down the road that we're going to be faced when we get towards the end of the season.
I'm sure as a coach you didn't like how close it got at the end. I'm sure.
As a coach, those are the games that get you going, keep you excited. After the game, I told my wife, man, I'm sweating. My heart's beating fast, and it's just a exciting game, and it's go here and there, could go either way, but those are the games that make you better as a coach, and obviously make our football team better.
And even though it was a non-conference game, it's a rivalry game. It's dated back years and years ago.
And that's the thing that we try to tell our players. Our players, when you think about a rival game, they think about Greeneville and Elizabeth, and that's our traditional rival. But when you want to talk about anybody that's used to go, what we call old head that went here, they want to talk about Greeneville and Morristown West. That's the game, or Greeneville and Jeff County. Those are 2 big games that they want to see happen, and that means the world to them. If you want to talk about somebody not liking a school, you mention Morristown West, and Greeneville and Morristown West. There's not any love lost with either one of those schools. So, but anytime last year we played them as a 21-20 game. We had to come back to win that game. It's been a battle the last couple of years, and they're trying to get the things rolling back on track down there, and get some good kids in that program. It's a big 5. They're one of the largest 5A schools, so they're right on the borderline, of being a 6A school. So you've got a lot of kids to pick from. So it's going to be a battle every time you play them, for sure.
We made a joke about it Saturday morning, how people from Morristown, if they hear that they have to go to Greeneville for a doctor's appointment or something, they might try to reschedule and go around Greeneville and go to Johnson City or the Tri-Cities, or just go opposite and go Knoxville, because people don't understand, especially my age. I'll be honest, I don't understand the rivalry between Greeneville and Mo West as much as I would the rivalry between Greeneville and Elizabethton. But from what I told you, go back years and years and years with that rivalry, and it's good that you were able to get that game in, even if it was on a Tuesday night. It's good that you're able to get those rivalry games in.
Yeah, Coach Ball was talking about it before the game yesterday. He said, my 2 years, my junior and senior year, I lost 4 games, and the 4 was against Morristown West. So, those guys, that age group, you're going to talk about a school they don't like. It's Morristown West for sure.
I think we talked about it as I was leaving last week. They can barely probably see it up in that corner over there, but you have plaques of the 2 state championship teams, and I think you said the one game that you lost was the West.
Yeah, I believe it was
15-0 and 14-1, and that one game was West.
It was West down there. We didn't have our it was a close game. I can't remember if it was 10-6 or 10-9, 10-3, something like that. We ended up getting beat. We were as good as we've ever been in those years, and we've had some dang battles. They've come up here and beat us a couple times, and we went down there. So it's a battle every time we face them.
And West used to be a perennial state championship team also. They used to play for state championships and be in contention almost every single year in the past. So it's good to get that rivalry game in. It's good to see another Green Devil win, 27-20. It's good to get a game finished. It's good to get a game finished.
Play 4 quarters for sure.
Third game that Greeneville's been able to finish this year in 5 weeks. That's so weird to say. Hopefully get things back to normal throughout the rest of the year because, like we mentioned, you've got another weird week this week. You've got a short rest until you play Volunteer. It's a regional game. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We've got to go into break first, so we'll be right back to preview that conference game against Volunteer here on Grassroots Media.
At Corner Pond, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pond can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pond is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pond help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greeneville, Tennessee. Tommy's Plumbing has provided professional plumbing services to the residents of Greeneville, Tennessee for over 30 years. Our experience and reputation have helped us grow our business to add locations in Jonesboro, Tennessee. Tommy's Plumbing is local and family owned, and we offer a full line of plumbing services, such as kitchen faucet, shower faucets, commodes, and bathroom faucets, as well as drain cleaning. We also provide outside plumbing work, such as septic and sewer drain cleanouts, as well as repair and replace. Tommy's Plumbing pretty much does it all. Tommy's Plumbing is licensed, bonded, and insured. Our quality workmanship and passion to provide our clients with expert service is second to none. We guarantee we have the best warranty around. For all your plumbing needs, give Tommy's a call at 638-3662.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Greeneville Federal Bank Eddie Spradlen Show, where we cover everything on the field with the Greeneville Green Devils. As always, I'm here with Green Devils head coach Eddie Spradlen. So you got another short week, a very, very short week.
Yeah.
You got 2 days to prepare for a conference opponent in Volunteer. You'll travel up there to play against them. You probably not had a lot of time to prepare for them, so give us some insight on what you do know and what you think you'll see out of them on Friday night.
I've talked to their coach, quite a few times during the off season, ran into him at a couple different events, and he's talked about he got a lot of young kids that he really feels good about. Some of those kids are even freshman kids, and I think he's got a freshman quarterback starting. So be a good young team that they're excited about, trying to build for their future. So just be glad to be back in region play. Be a good opportunity. From this point on that we're in region play. We talked before, if we can survive the first 5 games of the season, obviously we barely survived with how it's been, but we're to the point where everything else matters from this point on. So that's our focus. We want to be 1-0 every week. We want to be Region 1 4A champs. So that's our ultimate goal right now that we're going to work for, and it starts this Friday night.
Talk about what you think you'll see on offense and defense from them, because I know you might not have been able to watch a lot of film yet, but you can probably assume they'll run a lot of the same sets you're used to seeing out of them.
Yeah, they'll spread it out. They've had a couple good quarterbacks the last couple of years, kind of running the same offense we kind of do, spreading out, running the zone and stuff like that. So they'll try to get the ball in their playmakers, let that quarterback try to make some plays. I know he's young, but he's got some talent. So they'll try to get the ball in the playmakers, let them make something happen. Defensively, they're going to be in the forefront. They're going to try to, get up there and make you, everybody's going to try to challenge us in the run game because, like you mentioned earlier, we're doing a good job rushing the football. So, we want to establish that run game every Friday night. So, people's going to try to get more guys in the box, try to slow that down to make us, you're going to try to make us one-dimensional, try to make us throw the football to beat them. So, we got to be prepared, have a good plan, and, those kids got to execute that plan.
I know you joked about it during the break that you're kind of playing a basketball schedule to where you're playing Tuesday, Friday. What kind of preparation goes into a short week like that where you don't have a lot of time to scout, the boys don't have a lot of time to prepare and practice for the team that you're playing? How do you kind of prepare for a game like that?
Big thing is right now, last night was a really physical football game, 4-quarter game. It took a lot out of them. So I'm more bring them in today. We're going to do some yoga during our class period. Then we're going after school, we'll watch offensive and defensive film and try to learn from some things we did last night to make us better. Then I'm going to let them go today and let them relax, get on any type of treatment or anything that they need to get, and then we'll move from there and show up tomorrow, have a good plan in place, work that plan tomorrow in practice, and ready to go on Friday.
Preparing for Morristown West, this is another off-topic question I want to ask that I should have put in the last part. When you have such a long break between games, I think you had 12 days between the Alcoa game and the Morristown West game. Are you ever afraid of over-preparing for a team like that?
Yeah, you know, that was kind of some of my worry was, you know, obviously I think it ended up being 13 days from game to game. So, you know, that's a long time to not just be working for one team when you're, you know, preparing to play a game, then it gets moved, and then you got to, you know, come up with a different plan. So, you know, we try to space it out and do everything. We shortened we gave them a day off. We shortened the practices down. We gave them Saturday off. We brought them in on Sunday. It's just, you know, it fouls with your schedule, but we try to keep it consistent. Shorter practices where we're just focused on, you know, 2 of those practices. One was just the offense, one was just the defense. Then we kind of combined them for 2 more. Then we had that extra practice that, you know, we got everything in like we normally do. Then we had an extra day that we brought them in on Sunday evening, got a workout in, and we played a little extra to just go over everything, make sure we're touching everything that we need to touch. And so we were really happy with the plan that we came up with. And but, you know, that's a long time just to be making sure you're stressing out over it. You know, you as a coach, you watch so much dang film, you're trying to convince yourself one way or the other what you want to do, what don't want to do. I wanted to do this 2 days ago. Now I feel like but it's too late. And, you know, just makes you think too much. You know, you get a bunch of different films you start watching, and your head's about to spin off. But you know, I think we did a really good job as a team, as a coaching staff, of handling that break, and we had a really good plan on both sides of the ball and with special teams. And like I said, I feel like we did a really good job executing that plan last night.
I can imagine how stressful that is to have like 2 weeks between games and try not to over-prepare for such an important rivalry game too. But jumping back to volunteer one last time, as always, last question, you've got 3 keys to success you need to carry out. What are they this week when you go up to volunteer? You
know, one big key is we're going to have some young guys step up and play meaningful minutes. It's probably not used to playing. You know, you played 2 nights ago, you're banged up, guys are going to be sore. Some of them, you know, don't know if they'll play or not, and somebody else has got to step in that role and step in there, and it can't be any drop-off. So, you know, those guys got to be ready. So that's one big key for us. You know, guys that we're not dependent on need to step up and make some big plays. Offensively, we can't turn the football over. We got to continue to get good line play up front. We got to be able to establish the run game, which is going to help set up our passing game. We got to continue to get good quarterback play. You know, in these region games, we've had an opportunity to play 2 quarterbacks, and looking forward to hopefully getting to do that so we can, you know, develop both those guys. You know, for us to be successful down the road, we got to be able to have 2 quarterbacks we can depend on. That can't be any drop off. If one gets banged up or has to come out the game, the other guys got to be able to step in and be ready to play. So, you know, excited where we're at offensively. And the third key to that, we got to continue to play how we're playing defense. You know, really it starts at just how hard and relentless we want those guys to play. And we talked about it. We want them guys, you know, how we're going to judge you right now, how many hats are in when the play's over, how many hats are in the film. You can't be in the difference if we're playing Alcoa, Morristown West, or Volunteer. It's got to be the same type of effort. So we got to continue that for sure.
I was trying to think right there when you mentioned defense, how many points a game you had allowed so far this year. And I think you've allowed 48 total points. But can you average that out into 5 games when you didn't complete 5 games? I don't know. How did the stats work out? That's weird.
You know, that's a tricky question.
Yeah, it is.
You know, like people say, do you want to count your stats? Yeah, I'm going to count those stats. And, you know, I'll count the points against us, not against us. I mean, ultimately, somebody down the road might not count it, but for us, that's what matters. You know, we give up 21 points last night. That's more than we're used to giving up. We held them to 0 at the half. You know, we played everybody really good. Nobody scored on us in the first quarter all year, so we got to continue doing that. We've had big first quarters, but then we got to continue to play really good in the first half like we did last night. 20-0 at halftime. You should be able to. We got to get off the field that first drive and let our offense have a chance to go down there and get some more points on the board. We missed some points last night. We know we did, and our offense is going to meet about that today and try to improve on that stuff and go from there. But looking forward to continue to work for a short day, and then we'll get excited to be in region play on Friday night.
That's the one thing I don't like about no contests is none of the stats count.
Yeah.
I feel like that should not be the case because you put so much time and effort into practice and into that game just for everything to not count. I feel like things should count in that situation, but nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. You got Volunteer this coming Friday night. Another short week. Hope to see another win. Hope to be able to come back here next week and talk about another win. But as always,
sounds good, man.
Thank you for talking to me.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure
Go Devils.
Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Greeneville Federal Bank Eddie Spradlen Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.